Welcome back, people. We will look at font styling in this video. Font styling is very important as it will have a major impact on the looks of your page. You have to figure out a color palette and a font scheme initially, which is very important. We have two major font family. One is serif and another one is sans serif. The serif family has a little feet at the edges of all the letters. As you can see here, let's change the font family. Let's first go to our code. Here we have three h1 tags, three heading tags. One is a h1, one is h2, and one is h3. Let's go to styles.css. Let's save this. Go to our website. So now there is no change because the default font style, the font family is serif. Let's go back to our code. Let's change it to sans serif. Now, if you look at the text, the font, it is changed because it has changed from serif to sans serif. We have five major font family, but we use serif, sans serif, and monospace as common font family. Let's see how monospace looks like. Go to our website, reload. So this is how monospace looks like. Monospace is where each character inside the text takes the same amount of width. We usually use this for coding. So that leaves us with serif and sans serif, which we use for normal website styling. We also have cursive and fantasy, but cursive and fantasy has a very low readability, hence not used very often. So by default, the font family that is used in most of the website is serif, and default serif for most browser is Times New Roman font, and the default sans serif for most browser is Arial font. You can change the default font or typeface for the font family by specifying it before the font family name. So go back to our code. Let's change this to sans serif. So the sans serif is the font family. So we can also specify the font that we want in front of the font family name. If we do not specify any font name, then the sans serif will have Arial as its default font. Let's say we want Verdana. So let's specify Verdana. Don't need this actually. Let's save this. Go to our code, refresh. So now we have Verdana as our font instead of Arial in sans serif. This is how we can change the default typeface of a font family. How this works is that the browser renders the text in sans serif, but before that, it will check if it can render all text in Verdana. If it couldn't render it for some reason, like the user's OS doesn't have the particular font, then it will default to whatever sans serif font that is available. This is not okay, right? Sometimes because we may think that our font will appear in some particular style, but it may not. To avoid this, we use something called web safe font. So we have a bunch of web safe font that is almost installed in all operating systems so that you can use it with a particular amount of certainty that it will be rendered as we wish. So let's look at the examples. We have Arial, which is a sans serif, Verdana, which is sans serif as well, Tahomo, Tahomo, which is a sans serif, some more. Times New Roman is the default serif, Georgia, and some more of serif text as well. Although these are called web safe font, it is not 100% sure that the browser can render these font, but These fonts give us the maximum chance of getting it rendered correctly. To look at all the available fonts, go to CSS font stack. Here you have all the available font. It even has the percentage of users who have installed that particular font for both Windows and Mac. Let's say we want to use Impact, but you can see that 0% of Windows user has Impact, but 95.14% of Mac users has Impact. So let's say we have to use the copper plate font for our heading H1 tag, but we are not sure if it will be rendered correctly. So what we will do is use something called the fallback. We will copy this font family, go to our code, replace this. So now we have a fallback. Basically, we are telling the browser to use copper plate as the font for the whole of the body. But if it couldn't render, then go to the second best, which is copper plate gothic light. If it couldn't render that as well, then go to fantasy. I mean, the fantasy is the font family name, so it will render whatever is available in fantasy font family. So we are going from specific to less specific font here. Let's save this and see how this works. To our website, refresh. So now we have everything in copper plate. So let's erase this now. There is also something called font embedding. Go to fonts.google.com. They got a whole bunch of fonts. You can choose whichever font you want. Let's say I want a serif, and we will choose bitter. Once you choose a particular specimen, you will have all the styles that you can use these font in, like light, regular, medium, bold, extra bold, and so on. All you have to do is select a particular style. Let's say I'm going to choose a semi bold text. Let's select this. Now all we have to do is copy the link over here. So let's copy this, go to our code and paste it inside the head of our website. Now save this, go back to fonts.google.com. You have the font family here. Copy this, go to our code, go to styles.css and paste it over here and save it. Now let's go to our website and refresh. So you can see the difference. We now have the bitter as our font in serif font family. What the browser will do is, if the user doesn't have these font already installed, then it is going to fetch it from the particular location that we have specified over here. So now we have bitter as our font from serif font family. So with this, we come to an end for this video. Thank you for watching. Do like, share and subscribe to Supporting Tech.